So today's video is quite an impromptu one because I wouldn't normally do this because I don't read this stuff at all, but my mum's over and my mum reads a load of like trashy sort of weekly magazines, and I don't read things like this, and it's not any particular magazine, it's sort of across the board of women's magazines, the Heat and Reveal and ones like that. They're fast, they're fun, celebrity gossip type magazines, and they have their place. It's not, meh, it's one of them, isn't it? But I stopped reading them a while ago because they made me feel bad about myself. Every time I picked up one of those kind of magazines, I just didn't feel good. It's covered in, it's just constantly telling us how we're not good enough in some way. But because it was lying in my house this morning, I've flicked through one of the magazines, and I feel quite upset about it because I feel like we're sending out the wrong message. And I guess at 32 now, with 2 young girls, I'm starting to see things from a different perspective, seeing what my children are growing up with, knowing what I grew up with, and seeing, there's good and bad in every generation. But I think we're slipping into a really, in terms of how women see themselves, I think we're slipping into some really bad areas. So just flicking through here, every single page has got women with heavy surgery. And again, I'm actually against plastic surgery as a thing. Like, sometimes people want to get things done, and I really don't have an issue with that. What I have an issue with is that it's like the norm, that we should all have something done to ourselves, which isn't true. And we have a generation of girls growing up thinking that, well, they'll eventually get something done to themselves. You're all right as you are right now. You really are. And I'm reading an article in here and an interview with a reality person, and she's like, oh yeah, I haven't had, I'm not really big into surgery, I won't be getting surgery. I have had my boobs done and lip fillers. I'm like, sorry, but was that just like putting on some mascara? Was it, yeah, the surgery that you had and the lip fillers that you have to continue to have because you've had them already? Like, it's not okay. There's a whole page on bum lifts and bum implants. Girls, you don't need that. Get down the gym, do some exercise. You'll be sound. Because the thing is as well, this will go out of fashion. The whole bum thing, like, I'm quite loving it because I've got a bum, and it was never in fashion before. But do you know what? Big boobs used to be in fashion. They're not really in fashion anymore. Things come and go. Skinny eyebrows used to be in fashion. Now it's big bushy ones. If you change your body that dramatically and do something that's irreparable, you can't go back on that. There's learn to be happy within what you've got. We're all very, very different, and if you read these magazines, you'd imagine that we're all supposed to look the same. And I'm going to be honest, and this is brutal because I know a lot of the girls that are in reality shows and stuff, they're in the same boat. They've been reading these magazines all their life. They've been seeing these things, and so they're affected by it also, and that's why they look like they do. But they all look the fucking same. I can't tell them apart. Lips like that, it doesn't look very nice. It makes you all look exactly the same, and I'm sure people feel the same about it. But what got me the most in this was an interview, and I'm not picking this girl out because she's not uncommon in the area that she's in, but it's a girl on Geordie Shore who's just going into it, and it's just depressing reading. One of the questions was, are there any limits to how far you'll go on camera? And she just said, no, I'm happy to go with the flow, see what happens. On a night out when I'm pissed anyway, I don't actually have the brain cells to know what I'm doing. So yeah, I'll go all the way, why not? She's talking about having sex on telly and talking about how she doesn't have any brain cells. What are we doing? That is not something to be applauded. That is not something to be applauded. If you want to get on in life, you've got to educate yourself. Educate yourself. You don't have to be, you don't have to be some scholar in a suit, but educate yourself. Learn, read, sit and read books and do what you need to do to learn. It's not okay to be stupid and ignorant. That's not okay. You know, and sadly we're seeing this be celebrated like it's something like, oh, I'm so stupid, May, I'm just so stupid. What are you doing? I'm not, you know, I didn't go to university. I'm not that way inclined. But I look outside my fucking window and actually learn some stuff and read books. Like, you don't have to be. That just depresses me beyond words. And what she's saying is her family support her having sex on telly. Now, I'm no prude. I'm really not. But is that really something to be? She's saying in there, her family said, well, other people are doing it, so you might as well. I mean, there was a saying I used to get told of my parents when I was younger, and some of you may have heard it, but when I used to say, well, my friend's doing it, so why can't I? My family used to say, well, this is a particularly Geordie one, but they used to say things like, if your friend jumped off the Tyne Bridge, would you? It's a bridge where I'm from. If your friend put the head in the oven, would you? And it kind of feels like the same. Just because other people have had sex on television, screamed, shouted, got drunk on television, something that they can never ever get away from because it's out there now, and they will forever be judged on that particular time in their lives, does that mean that you have to do it too? I think it's depressing. And if you're that girl's parents, then shame on you. Absolutely shame on you. And I'm sure I'll get backlash for this, but our job as parents is to nurture our children and make them safe. How is it safe to let your children put sexual stuff on the internet and then just be like, off you pop, there you go and make loads of money, love, and then we'll all be sound? It's sick, and it really depressed me reading through this. It is just girls with the same faces, blown up lips, blown up boobs, and it's just constantly the whole way through just telling me, you know, she's fat, she's thin, yeah, she's ugly, look at those. I mean, the thing is, this is okay. So I went on a bit of a rant and then stopped the video, but I just don't think this is okay. And so, as a parent who does know the internet, who does know about social media, I am going to endeavour to make sure that I arm my children with the understanding that when something's out there on the internet, it's out there forever, and you need to decide, you know, what you want the world to see of you, and that education is everything. Knowledge is power. Yeah, knowledge is power, and it's not about being you know, it's not because, you know, not when I say knowledge, it doesn't have to be the, you know, book smart type stuff in terms of like going to university and sciences and maths. I'm talking about educating yourself on the world around you and learning about the world, the people that you see, and certainly never ever uttering the words, I'm just stupid, May, I'm so thick. If you're trying to oppress men by doing that, because often that's the way, men don't like it either, not the ones worth any note. So yeah, just value yourselves a little bit more, and I would really advise you limit your intake of reading that kind of magazine, because really seriously, within minutes of looking at that, I could tell you what stuff I suddenly need to have done to myself, and I'm fine as I am, and so are you. So give yourself a break, eat well, go, you know, exercise where you can, drink lots of water, do your makeup and have fun and play with fashion. But it doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to be that you blow up your lips and face fillers and everything. It doesn't have to be that. So yeah, parents out there, it's up to us now. It's up to us to educate our daughters and educate our boys to understand that that isn't a real face. Everything that we read is airbrushed, and yeah, we've got to be those people that do that, and certainly not just push our children off into reality TV shows and go have sex on TV for money, because that's horrific. End of story. Peace.